Finally, in part 3, we're going to look at some drills to do the wrist hinge some good. Now, as you well know, if the wrists are quiet in the golf swing, the ball goes low, and if the wrists are active, the ball goes high. But when else do you need your wrists? Well, in rough, semi-rough or heavy rough, and in sand, particularly in long shots and particularly in shots where you have a plug liner bunker. To have good wrist and forearm strength is a real asset. So, as I said earlier, with your forearm drill, you're going to save the wear on your gloves if you're using your fingers properly. And when you meet good golfers, and particularly ones that practice, you'll notice that the thumbs of the muscles protrude because of the way that the hands work. So let me just show you a couple of wrist hinge drills. Just allow the club to rest there. Now you can literally just hinge that wrist there. Just work the club in the left wrist only. Now keep my arm still, but I'm working the wrists. I can then do this with both. Just working the wrist up and down. And what's interesting, as the body does that drill, it teaches the wrist how to work in the golf swing. So if you practice this drill here, keeping the forearm still, see how still my left forearm is? I'm just practicing wrist hinge. The beauty is, if you hinge the wrist and turn your shoulder, you can see that it builds a good swing. If the wrists are weak, we can lose control of the club at the top. Another good drill to make sure your hands are fitted together is to put the club opposite your sternum, as we did earlier with the windscreen wiper drill, and hinge the wrist up. Now, keeping your hands very central, just see how much movement you can create in the wrist and the forearms. Okay? I can almost move the club within half a sort of globe, a sort of hemisphere, just by using my wrists. Okay, if my grip's out of line, I can't do it. But if my grip is good, fist and fingers, I can get tremendous mobility in the wrists and the forearms. Okay? So, when you make the backswing, having done the wrist hinge, you can feel it happen. Remember, the wrists are moved through 45 degrees as the shoulders turn through 90. So there's some drills you can do indoors. What's the best way of getting your wrist quicker on the golf course? The answer is to hit shots with your knees together. So if I show you my address position, put my knees touching, ankles and toes. Imagine I'm holding a coin between my knees. My knees can move, but they mustn't separate. Now, if you hit shots knees together, you'll be surprised how your balance will improve. If you don't hinge your wrists, you'll fall over. What this exercise does, it accentuates wrist hinge and it mixes wrist hinge to shoulder turn. So the best way to get your wrists moving quicker is to practice shots with your knees together. Let me demonstrate that for you. So normal routine, bring the feet together. Remember, the ball will not be dead centre, it'll be 2 or 3 inches left of centre, and then hit a shot. Knees together, you're going to hinge and then release. A lot of you will try that drill and find great improvement. You'll often wonder, why don't I play all my golf with my knees together? Well, it's a good question, but it is a great drill. Certainly when I'm teaching youngsters and juniors, I do a lot of work in the early stages of the game with shots with the knees together. In fact, I even sponsor 9-hole competitions where they play their knees together. You'd be surprised how much an effect it takes. But that's the best way of increasing your wrist hinge within the swing.